Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Blast from the Past. Hell's aspiring angel takes on her demonic doppelganger in this action-packed, time-traveling E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Blast from the Past with a bonus E-Steam comic book, No Good Deed, in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Hi everyone, it's Shawn here with a comic review video. And this week I am doing a series of comic review videos of the books of the Konkret or Konkret universe. And if you want to take a look at the previous comic review video that I did for Absolver, you can click the link in the description box and check out that review video of Absolver, which I believe to be one of the best comics of 2020. Now, I'm going to continue on in this series as related to the Konkret or Konkret universe, and the second book that I checked out as I was looking at my digital bundle was the book Akolyte. Now, Akolyte really reminds me of three characters. It reminds me of Marvel's Blue Marvel, it reminds me of Superman, and it also reminds me of Icon. And this character, I say, is written better than all three, and it's looking like the Konkret or Konkret universe is setting him up to be the flagship character. Now, this Akolyte is the son of a supreme, a cosmic being, and he has cosmic powers similar to that of the Blue Marvel. And he also has a very human connection to people, and he reminds me in some ways of Augustus Freeman, Icon, but he also reminds me of Clark Kent as well. And as I was reading this book, I was very impressed with the way the Akolyte character was presented. He was presented as this incredibly cosmic being, but he's oftentimes very down-to-earth and relatable. So the Akolyte character, he's somebody that, while he has these incredible powers, he's an incredibly decent man, and he has great values, and that's what makes him a great hero at heart. And the book starts out by showing the Akolyte character, and he's just chilling on the moon, reading about his adventures, and he's thinking about something that Edward Snowden had said about being a hero. And I'm going to zoom in on that. And he said that he was thinking about what Edward Snowden said about there are no heroes, only heroic decisions. And this is while he's contemplating about his adventures as they were presented in this media piece on the moon. So he's sitting there reading a magazine on the moon, and that just shows you how incredible his powers are, that he's on the moon. And he's just sitting there and he's thinking about that it's not about there are heroes, that there are people who make heroic decisions. And that's a very deep thing to really think about, because people aren't, or what makes a person a hero is the decisions that they make to do the right thing, and that's the thing that defines what they are and what they represent as a hero. So we see the Akolyte flying in space in a double page splash, and it just again shows how incredibly powerful he is. And as he's flying down, we start to see him come down to the city he protects, Sapphire City, which is very similar to Metropolis, and it reminds me a little bit of Atlanta back in the 90s, because back in the 90s, Atlanta was considered to be a bit of a mecca for black people, and that's what I think he's trying to do with these visuals, but he's also showing us how there's also a lot of crime and corruption inside of this city. So we get some nice setups as related to showing us, the large scale as related to this character. And that's one of the things that's very, as I see it, compelling about the Akolyte character and the world that's being built around the Akolyte character, in contrast to the Absolver. The Absolver was really, he was a lot about the supernatural, But this one feels a lot more like a superhero book, and it has that what I've been always been complaining about as related to comics, about comics not being big enough. But the creators of this comic are trying to give us that big, epic feel, and that's something that has really been lacking in comics for years. A lot of comics, they oftentimes do things in a small scale, but with Akolyte, we get a plan to do things in a large scale as related to his heroics, but then we also get a connection to his humanity, because the Akolyte is not only a cosmic being, but he's also a music producer, and he wants to go out here and help people achieve their dreams of making music, like he does in this page right here. And this is a great sequence to show us that here's this incredibly powerful being, but he can connect with people and try to help those people. Now, I don't want to give away too much of this book because it's just a very, very well done book, and it's just so well done that I'm gonna go back and scroll back over, because I don't want to really take away too much from these creators, because I know how hard a lot of these creators out here work on these books, and I don't want to, one, spoil the book for new readers, and I also don't want to take away from these creators and the hard work that they have done over the last year or so just to go out here and put this book together. Because I myself, as a publisher, I've been putting books together, and it's a lot of work to write the story, then contact the artist and commission them, then have them do the page layouts and it's related to the storyboards, and then have them go out here and then do the final art with the pencils and the inks, hire a letterer and a colorist. It's a lot of work to put these books together, and that's why when I do a review, I don't want to spoil the book, because these creators, they work hard on these books, and if people want to get the book, they really should go out here and get the book. And Akolyte is a book I definitely recommend you go out here and get this book, because this is a very well done book, and the storytelling is rock solid. And I'm going to leave another sequence here because I don't want to really spoil it, but we have a bad guy who reminds me a little bit of Tobias Whale, and he doesn't really like what Akolyte is doing, so he's making plans because they praise him, so I must break him. So it's a little bit like Tobias Whale with a little bit of Lex Luthor, and I see how he's setting things up very nicely as related to the story arc, and he's setting things up to, really create this big and grand feel for this Akolyte series, and I like everything that he's doing so far. So there's a lot. This is a really big, grand, epic book, and again, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but there are some later sequences that will have you really wanting to pick up the next issue, and there are some new major baddies coming up that you're really going to want to look at, because these Children of Chaos, they remind me of General Zod and Superman 2, and again, they're setting up for something big with Akolyte, and they're setting up for big, grand, epic fights, and that's what it should be with a cosmic character. A cosmic character should be into big, grand, epic fights. They should be in big, grand, epic battles, and everything should be big and large scale. I mean, this is a guy with incredible cosmic powers, and we need to feel that epic threat. And I like that what we're seeing that in this second issue, just the whole setup to things being in this big, grand scale that I used to see back when I used to go out here and read books in my brother's comic collection, things like the Jim Shooter, George Perez Avengers, or the Jim Shooter, John Byrne battle between the Avengers and Count Nefaria. And what's happening with Children of Chaos looks like it's going to set up to become a nice, big, grand, epic battle where we're going to see the Akolyte really showing his cosmic powers. And I'm really impressed with the Konkret universe so far. I mean, the first book, Absolver, gave us a big supernatural book, and your Akolyte gives us a big cosmic superhero book. So we've got two great titles laying a rock solid foundation for the Konkret or Concrete universe. And I have to say, they took things again to another level that Milestone hasn't done with its relaunch, and has even gone, as I say, a step better than even Milestone in 1993, because as they're establishing their universe, they're giving us these large, epic characters who can stand on the content of their character, not just the color of their skin. And these are the type of heroes that would inspire a generation of black kids to see the world from a black perspective and see what's great about being black. And that's one of the things I like about the Konkret or Concrete universe, is that we're getting comics that really show us black people in a positive fashion and really show you black people who see a world as black first. That's another thing I really loved about Akolyte and Absolver, is that we're seeing black heroes who are not seeking out to be what validated by white people. We're seeing black superheroes who are living in their own world, taking on their own bad guys, and out here to empower themselves. And again, reading this type of content, it's going to shape the way you think about yourself. It's going to shape the way you think about the world. And feeding your mind these kind of comics, this is going to really help you really get a positive picture of being black, a strong picture of being black. And I really like seeing Akolyte because he presented, again, a strong, positive image of black manhood, a strong, positive image of black masculinity, and a powerful image of a black man. And this book is incredibly well done, and it's a book I would highly recommend you go out here and get. It's another well-crafted book by the creators of the Konkret or Concrete universe, and again, another rock-solid block in building this universe. Akolyte is a great superhero comic, and it's one you definitely are going to enjoy. If you like characters like Icon, Superman, the Blue Marvel, you're going to really enjoy this book. And this book is, what as I see it, the way Marvel needs to treat Blue Marvel. And Konkret or Concrete, they have given us what we should have gotten with Blue Marvel, and they've done a spectacular job with the Akolyte character. Again, I love this book, I love this series, and I want to see more readers go out here and pick up Akolyte. And you can pick up your own copy of Akolyte, Odinia, the Absolver, and Andy Starboy on KonkretComics.com. Go over to that website, help those brothers and sisters out, and promote and pick up some of these great positive black heroes and put some dollars in a black creator's hands so they can continue going out here to create more great black comics. I really want to see the Konkret or Concrete universe continue to expand, and I'm definitely going to be back to put in my pledge for Akolytes number 3, Odinia number 3, and Absolver number 3, and Andy Starboy number 2, and I definitely recommend you do the same as well. And if you want to pick up the books of the SJS Direct universe, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And if you want to pick up my first comic that I've produced, you can pick up a copy of E-Steam Blast from the Past on Amazon.com in paperback or Kindle format, or at other online booksellers. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available. Paperback and Kindle Unlimited. ISIS, the main event. It's carnage inside of a steel cage when the goddess next door steps in the squared circle with the beast from the boss in this action-packed all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, the main event, in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.